Hello there, friends, and today on the episode of Behind the Mix, we are finally diving in the latest track called Battle of the Spirits. So, without further ado, let's jump into the door. Okay, so now we are in the door, and essentially going into this session, I was having this mentality that today I am going to do a beat, and I wanted to do something that has more upbeat to it and danceability. So I made this drum loop, which is pretty dominant throughout the whole song. And then the guitars hit, and fun fact about these guitars is that the way I came up with this riff and the tuning was that one morning I woke up and I picked up my guitar, started jamming, and this was the riff that I came up with. And in that moment I thought to myself that it would be the perfect fit for this drum loop, and Lord behold, so it was. But yeah, about the tuning, when I picked up my guitar in that morning and I checked the tuning, because to my ear it sounded like it was on tune, but when I checked the tuner it was like on tune but slightly off. So since Podco has the ability to lower the frequency of the tuner, I started lowering it until it hit the spot, and it turned out to be 436 hertz. So the guitars are slightly out of tune by design, because I tried the normal way, the 440 hertz, and that sounded a bit too like throaty and bitey. So I went with this one. And here we have electric piano on this intro, supporting the guitar riff. And what I'm using there as the instrument is once again analog lab stuff. It's the Clean Funk clav. And nothing too fancy EQ wise going on this song. This song I didn't do much of EQ or any like wild processing, because without any processing it was almost like perfect. So that's why there's not much of processing, just tiny little polishes here and there. But yeah, there's few runs of this riff, and then the bass hits. Just simple two notes, going 16th notes, and by itself it sounds like this. And here on the verse, the bass switches. It's playing long notes instead of 16th notes, and the guitar riff also changes a tiny bit, and we are adding some pads here. And the bass is kind of like following the pads a little bit. And here's a cool sound effect that I found, which by itself sounds like this. So that was a 90s club bass that I used on that, and I played a little bit with the filter knob and automated it so it makes that zoom type of thing. And after that I found another cool sound that added some psychedelicness to the song and a little bit mood switch. Where is it? I have marked it as a solo violin, but the sound wasn't. Yeah, it's not a violin, it's from Astral Form Pack, the harmonic bass, which almost sounds like someone is screaming or something. And then back again. And then moving on to the chorus, the drums, which just a tiny bit, the overheads are switching. And, guitar riff changes a tiny bit. And also, the bass is switching back to the 16th notes, and we are also adding these horns with choir backing it up. And then after the chorus, there's actually a tiny mistake on the bass. It starts a little bit like speeds up tiny bit here. Just a tiny bit it speeds up or starts earlier. Can't remember which one it was, or actually I have the MIDI here. Yeah, it starts just a tiny bit earlier, so it gives it that kind of like dragging or sudden tempo switch feel. Keeps listener engaged, me included. And then we go second verse, back again. Second verse is a bit longer. There's more of these parts. And then the second one, yeah, the drums are completely off, which keeps you engaged once again on the song. Just tiny little switches, make the song, or keeps the listener engaged when you do these little switches here and there. And then that is what is going on behind the mix of Battle of the Spirits. And if you like this, leave thumbs up and go stream the song. See you on the next one. Ciao.